¿Cómo está? Hello everybody, it's Miss Hamilton again. So right now what I'd like to do is teach you how to make Pico de Gallo. This recipe came from my relatives down in Texas, my Hispanic relatives. They actually serve this at one of their restaurants. One of my cousins has their own restaurant and they actually serve Pico de Gallo. Sometimes they put a little bit of different things in it, but this is the majority of the ingredients that they use. So they use tomatoes, and I've already got them all diced up for you. I'm going to show you one way that I like to do my tomatoes. We have cilantro, which I'm going to bring some cilantro over. I've already got it washed. I'll show you how to remove the skins. I don't like the skins myself. I'm going to show you how to cut up the onion. We're going to actually dice the onion. We've got some lime. That's what really adds it that good flavor. And then we've got some garlic. Again, I'll have some black pepper, some salt. My secret to my relatives' Pico de Gallo and salsa is cayenne. I've got a little garlic salt to add in there as well. And then again, if you don't like fresh garlic, you can use it out of a jar, okay? So the first thing we'll do, let's just go ahead and finish this tomato. I like to use a serrated edge knife, and I have my little tomato here, and instead of laying it flat like this, I just like to leave it up like that. You can do it the opposite if you want. I'm gonna hold on to it kind of like a bear claw, and I'm gonna start on one end, and I'm gonna slice almost to the end, the bottom of, I don't wanna go all the way through, and I'm just making little thin slices. You can go a little bit thicker than that if you want. Hold on to it, then I'm gonna turn it, hold on to it this time, okay? Same thing till where you feel like you're almost getting down to the end. And what this is gonna do is create, I'm gonna turn it around, hold on to it again. It's gonna create like it's gonna look like a dice. Turn it sideways now, on its side. Hold on to it if you can, and just start cutting through. It's almost like you're sawing through it. And this is where you get the dice look, okay? You can see that. Then what do you do with this piece? What I do is I turn it over flat, and I just make nice little strips. Again, turn it sideways, make like nice little strips. And I hold on to it. Then I kind of go through and I go, you know, I really don't want that in my salsa. So that goes in my garbage. And I look for one more. Oh, don't like that one. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my tomatoes. You can use all kind of tomatoes you want. These are the ones that I prefer. Now the next thing I wanna show you is the onion. So here's the onion. I've already taken all the skin off. This is the root, okay? And then I'm gonna take that piece off right there. I'm gonna use my chef's knife this time. I'm going to cut that off. And a lot of people do onions differently. You will see there's the root. So what you want to do is cut straight down, okay? And I'm going just like this, all the way through. And I'm not going, and let me hold that right there. Yeah, okay, do it that way. And I'm not cutting all the way through. So what's going to happen is you can see this onion has been cut, but the root's still intact, okay? So the next thing that I wanna do is I'm gonna hold on to this onion this time, and I'll hold on like this, and I'm gonna go all the way through till I'm almost to the root. It's okay, I'm not gonna cut myself. I'm gonna make another slit, if I can, slowly. Then what I'm gonna do, hold on to it like a bear claw, and I'm gonna actually slice down, and so this is kind of a larger kind of dicing, and let me cut through. Okay, so you will see that some of this onion is still got some big pieces on it, okay? So yeah, and what that means is when I was slicing through, I didn't get that close to the root, so when I turned it over and stuff. So now what I wanna do is I'm gonna take my onion. I've got some pieces. These actually look super. These are small little pieces that look like they've all been pre-chopped. That's not bad, but I don't like big onion in my Pico de Gallo. So what I'm gonna do is, in fact, I'm not even gonna use all of it because I'm not really an onion person. So I'm gonna move some of my onion over. That's what's really nice about this is some people like lots of onion and some people don't. So I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose. And now I'm gonna move it over to the side. Take there you go, piece off. And I'm gonna take my knife, hold on to it like this, thumb on one side, index finger on the other, and I'm gonna take the palm of my other hand, I'm just gonna rock it back and forth. And when I have Pico de Gallo, I like my onion to be kind of small. okay? And you can go like this, rock it back and forth. Now, if you go like this, like I was showing you, that can really dull your blade. So it's probably better to just take your onion. Some people, oops, gotta be careful. I almost did that again, didn't I? It's a habit, but, and you can tell I continue wanting to do that. Scraping back and forth. Like I said, you can do that. A lot of people do that, but you'll have to resharpen your blade a lot, okay? So you wanna take your onion, throw that in with your tomatoes, okay? Like I said, I'm not really an onion person, so I'm not gonna throw a lot of onion in mine. I'm just gonna set this aside because I'll probably use it a little later. The next thing that you wanna do is you wanna take your garlic. I have my garlic right here, and I'm just gonna mince it. And before I do that, I need to chop it, and that's what I'm doing right now. Just chopping it. Chopping means irregular pieces. That's kind of what the onion looked like. We were trying to dice it, but sometimes it always doesn't turn out the way you want, but it's still gonna taste good. And I'm taking my garlic. Now what I wanna do is mince it. And I'm just kind of rocking it back and forth. Taking my hand, just like this. Now the thing about garlic is if it's big pieces, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get big pieces in your mouth. Go, whoo, that's really strong. So it's really important. Right now, this garlic and this onion is really getting to me. So you're probably gonna see me cry in a moment. I'm gonna switch my garlic to a smaller cutting board. Set that aside because I am gonna start crying. I'm gonna take a break for just a moment. Hi, I'm back. The onion was really getting to me, and it probably doesn't help that I have my garbage bowl here. So after I'm done making my pico de gallo and getting ready to start my other salsas, I'm gonna empty that. So you just wanna take your knife again, during that little time that I took to let my eyes stop from burning, I continued also to mince my garlic. So just take your little finger, slide it against the blade, go ahead and just put your garlic right into your bowl right here. Slide that, you're good to go. The next thing that you wanna do is you wanna get some cilantro. What I did is I went ahead and I washed my cilantro, and then I just started, I don't like the stems in my cilantro. I just went ahead and put some leaves, just take them off by hand. It takes a few minutes. If you wanna use the stems, you can, but I just don't use the stems. My relatives never did, so I don't use the stems. Sometimes restaurants do because they just want to get in a hurry. It takes a little bit of time to do that. It's not cost effective to stand there taking it all off. But anyway, so I take all the stems off. So now what I'm going to do is take this cilantro just like this, and I'm going to take my chef's knife, and I'm just going to chop it just like this. Rock it back and forth. Put it all together. Again, I actually washed this cilantro in cold water, and then I pat it dry. Some people like big pieces of cilantro. Some people don't even like cilantro. Oh, I love cilantro. I've got to have it in my pico de gallo and my salsa. Okay, so now what I want to do is just pick it up just like this. Bring my bowl over. So we're almost done. Get all of it. To me, you can never have enough cilantro, okay? So I might even put more in it in just a few minutes. We'll see. Set this aside. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to take my limes, and I'm just going to hold on to it and just squeeze it. One thing that you can do is take a lime and roll it, continue rolling it, and then all the lime juice will come out. So you can cut it in half this way, or you can cut it the other way, however you want to do it. All the lime juice is going to just squeeze out just like this. When you're making pico de gallo, you're definitely going to get your hands really into the pico de gallo. Okay, this is definitely something that you got to get ready for. Your fingers, your hands are gonna have lots of flavors on them. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my hands off for just a second. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to be adding all of my seasonings, and again, it's really up to you. Really up to you what you want to do. One thing that I noticed that I didn't have over here, I'm gonna grab, is my jalapeno. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm gonna cut my end off right here, and I'm gonna slice it in half. A lot of people do it a little bit different. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lay it just like this. I'm gonna cut them into strips, okay? And then I'm gonna hold on to it, and just make nice little slices. Now, this is, since Pico de Gallo, it's just like a salsa, but it's all fresh. I'm just gonna use fresh jalapenos. If you don't wanna use, and what I mean by fresh jalapenos, I mean that I'm not gonna boil them like I'm doing my other salsa. And then from there, if you wanna take your cutting board, which I'll transfer to the big cutting board right here, okay? And I'm just going to, again, chop it back and forth. Some people like their jalapenos to be really chunky. Some people add the poblano peppers to it. I've always used jalapeno. You can take the seeds out if you want. I like to add the seeds because that's where all the flavor is. That's where all the hotness is. So I'm just gonna chop it up and add this right now. If you see some big white pieces that you don't want in there, you can just take those out, put those aside. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Doesn't really, you know, that's where all the seeds are anyway. Okay, throw that right in there. Now, what I wanna do is I'm gonna wash my hands off again. Now this is where you can decide how you wanna add some flavors to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more pepper, because I love pepper, okay? I'm gonna add some salt, just like that. You know, my secret is my cayenne in there, okay? I am gonna also add a little bit of garlic salt, just like this. And then what you wanna do is I'm just gonna take a rubber scraper and I'm just gonna fold it in just like this, okay? And the trick to Pico de Gallo is let it sit, okay? Now I'll notice as I'm flipping this through, I'm like, man, there's some big pieces of tomato in here. You can actually take a small paring knife and you can make those pieces like this one right here, okay? No big deal. I'll just take this out, set it aside, and I'm just gonna cut them into smaller pieces and throw them back in there. And so that's what you gotta think. When you're making Pico de Gallo, this is supposed to go on a chip. And if you notice that some of your, like, look at that. Okay, we're not gonna eat that. So what you do, and that was just me probably talking when I was making this, okay? I have a lot of memories of making Pico de Gallo with my grandma Galban. My father is Mexican Spanish. My grandfather came from Spain and my grandmother came from Mexico. So I kind of got a little bit of everything mixed in with me. And I learned how to make tamales, refried beans, you know, rice. And so today, a lot of my recipes, it's kind of really emotional for me at the same time because I'm able to think about my father who is deceased. He died when I was 10. And I'm also thinking about my grandma, Galban. That was my last name. When I was young. And she passed away when I was in my early 30s. So I like to make a lot of her recipes and think about my family during this time. Okay, so right now I have a wonderful Pico de Gallo here. And it's got fresh garlic, it's got cilantro, it's got tomatoes, it's got jalapenos, we've got garlic salt, pepper, cayenne pepper. You know, a lot of people like to add their own kind of spices and their own kind of peppers, and it's really up to you how you'd like to do it. So I'm gonna wrap this up with saran wrap because it can really take over the flavors, the aroma can really take over in your refrigerator. So you can actually use saran wrap or put a lid on it. And I would wait a good hour or two before you eat it because otherwise you're gonna think it's really mild. And the thing about Pico de Gallo, you can make it really, really, really hot, or you can make it mild. It's up to you. So happy, enjoy, happy eating.